Right. We're just going to roll with it. It's Friday.
Hey everybody, CamiBaker.com. It is fabulous, fierce, and on fire Fridays with friends, and I'm featuring Miss Karie. Now, a lot of the people that I've had on Fabulous, Fierce, and on Fire are people that I've actually met out networking and playing in the visionary entrepreneurial thought leader kind of business owner kind of realm. Karie and I have never actually met, but last year she reached out to me to do an interview with me for a series that she was doing. And actually it was Mercury in retrograde when we talked last year, and technology wasn't working, just a whole different thing. So it's my honor to be able to feature her today to my folks and me to her folks, etc., and just have a fun little powwow and talk about how we can be a benefit to all those that we serve. So Karie, I'm going to let you take it and just share with your tribe and my tribe a little bit about not what you do, because I'm a big proponent of don't get into what you do, more about how you do it, why you do it, and who you do it for.
Ooh, I like that. It's less of a resume, more of a heart soul kind of space to play in. I like that. Yes, good stuff. Well, first and foremost, I've been in the coaching role for about 13 years anyway, but it's not even about that. I think it's kind of interesting that you say that. The why part of what we do is so important, because when we lose sight of that, everything's hard. Everything's more challenging. The hills are bigger and harder to climb. But the why is the biggest part. I'm a big advocate for women empowerment, mostly because, I'm kind of one of 5 kids, grew up in the Midwest, was a pastor's kid. You're taught to kind of be quiet, be seen, not heard. You don't have a voice, just kind of blend in, don't cause ripples. And there's a part of you inside that just starts to scream, like, I want to come out and play. I'm this person. I need to be all of me. And which led to my book, Permission to Be Me. And that just is all about that women empowerment, just letting yourself, giving yourself permission. Because I was just talking to this with a friend of mine last night. We do this internally. And I have a whole series, by the way. There's 7 books total in this Permission to Be Me series. As women, we still can hear mom saying, no, you can't have dessert you didn't eat yet. Eat your dinner yet. You didn't finish your dinner. No, you can't go outside and play. You didn't clean your room yet. We still have this internal permission needed voice. And all we need to do is just turn it on and say, yes, you can do that. Permission to be successful. Permission to be loud and proud of who you are. Permission to share your voice. The empowerment piece of all of that is what really riles me up. And that is truly my platform. Lucky me, I get to raise a 14-year-old daughter who is on fire. She's not a normal teenager. I take total responsibility for that. She's a loud, proud, want to be an actress, want to be a positive role model kind of kid. So I'm doing something right if my own household has got their act together. So that's really my why. It's her. Being a mom, I didn't know I was going to be a mom. She's kind of a blessing in disguise. I was told I couldn't have kids. And then I just took it to another level. Like, I'm not going to just shed my layers here. I'm going to be this role model in front of her and see what she can do. And that's just how it should be, the ripple effect that we get to create for everyone around the world, piece by piece. So that's just a snippet.
So, permission to be me. I love that. I have always been pretty ballsy, and I've always said I'd rather beg for forgiveness than to ask for permission.
Yeah.
But there's something inside of all of us. We want to be seen. We want to be heard. And, I say that a lot as a tagline. And for me, it's, getting on TV and stages and da-da-da-da-da. But it doesn't have to be that big and bold. Just being like you and me, like just 2 girls talking. I want to be seen. I want you to see me, like see me. I want to be heard. I want to be acknowledged. I want to be appreciated. And that's what you're helping women to do, to be seen, be heard, be acknowledged.
Yes.
And, permission to be me. I was just at a retreat. Do you know Trish Blaine?
His name sounds familiar.
Well, I had her on.
Yeah, I do know her.
Me too. But, the whole retreat ended up really totally being about just being, giving yourself permission to just be. Speak on that. How do we give ourselves permission to just be?
Well, the key thing is sometimes we don't know who we are. So I actually have an online course that I talk about this and go a little deeper than the book. Sometimes we're like, I want to be permission to be me, but who am I? Who is Karie? And that's where you have to start. Once I do personality assessments with people. I think they're so eye-opening. And what's even more fun is not too long ago as a family reunion, I had all my family, siblings, mom, dad, everybody take a personality assessment too. And I sat down with all of them and went, this is why dad is who he is. This is why maybe this personality kind of clashes with dad, or my brother who's just like him. Obviously, you know, they butt heads. It gave us such a soft understanding of each other and more compassion, more empathy towards how you're wired. So really go deep with how you're wired first. And then look in the mirror and just love that part of yourself. I was told I talk too much. I'm too theatrical. I'm too much. I'm just too much. Go sit and be quiet. And I was in 3 years of theater, for God's sakes. Look what I do for a living. I'm a public speaker, you know, and I'm out there sharing my life with the world. I get paid to do what they told me to shut up and not do. So it's first going in and going, well, now I see why I'm this person. This is how Karie's wired. Why would I not want to be that? Where does the world need this type of person? And then just own it. And there's no shame in any of it. If you're the introvert analytical type, we need you. Us girls like myself that hate details, we need you. We will hire you. You're needed. Your gifts are just as important as the person that is loud, proud, and out there in the spotlight like myself or Cami.
I'm surprised you got your family to do that with you, because usually family doesn't really take us as seriously and respect us in our profession. How in the world did you get your family to actually take those tests and actually take you serious?
Well, it was kind of a special family reunion. We wanted to do it with just mom and dad. It was for the 50th wedding anniversary, and just us 5 kids, no grandkids, no spouses. So we were kind of stuck at a lake house anyway, so they didn't have anywhere else to go. And Miss Karie was given the responsibility to do kind of like a little self-study, self-development something one afternoon. So here I am passing out assessments, having them take it. And there was a lot of tears. There was a lot of awakening. There was a lot of awareness. There was more respect for each other. It was very touching. I didn't think it was going to go that far. And you don't think your family's going to take you seriously. They're usually your worst audience. But for some reason, they just opened up and really embraced it. It was really memorable. It was a beautiful space.
You know, that's great that you help your clients to actually figure out who they are. Who do they want to be? I was just being interviewed today on a TV show, and the guy was talking about image and how to help people step into their image and their personal brand and things, and got to talking about, look, it's all about who are you being?
Yeah.
Who are you showing up as, and realizing how are you being seen? How do you want to be seen? Because that's different things a lot of the time. I did a course called Landmark Education years ago, and I remember one of the exercises we did was actually asking and interviewing people in our family and our business and our personal life, you know, what can I be counted on for? What can I not be counted on for? You know, what am I good at? What am I not good at? And just really asking that person to be really honest with us. So share with us about who is your perfect avatar? Who's somebody that when you really sink your teeth into them, they really have transformation?
Oh, wow. I've been coaching a long time.
Who's perfect? Like, tell me about one of your clients that was just like, wow, if they were all like this, I would just be in heaven.
You know, I have to brag, yes. And in fact, we have a mutual friend, Angela Giles. We talked about her. I know Angela through one of my clients, Galit is her name, and she's here in Las Vegas as well. When she came to me 2.5 years ago or so, she was just getting her master's in family and marriage therapy. She knew something didn't feel quite right, like that was where she was supposed to land. She had a background in commercial real estate. I have to brag about her big time because she is my prodigy, my shining star. When I say I create superstars, I love to show her as the example because she just embraced it. She's the type of person that didn't really want to be seen on stage, but she knew that was the only way she was going to help other people. And that's when your ego just goes, like, take a hike. This isn't about me. This is about how many lives I can touch. And her and I share that same passion. It's so much fun that she lives in my city and we can work side by side a lot of the time together. And I promote her with my speaking agency now too. I told her 6 months before I started promoting her in speaking, I said, you will be speaking. This is a part of what you're going to be doing. Whether you like it or not, this is going to happen. And sure, she freaked out. We all do inside when we're getting ready to shed another layer and you know, get outside that comfort zone again. But she's embraced it wholeheartedly, even with any kind of anxiety or anxiousness feelings, you know, those butterflies we get right before we do it. And she just does it. It's so beautiful to see. because I know her heart's in the right place. She really wants to empower more women and help people across the world. And yeah, so if I could shine a star or spotlight on any of my clients, taking her from that, building her brand, building her online courses, it's just been a blast. So much fun. If I could just clone her 50 times.
I love the word you use, that she has embraced it.
Yeah.
Because at the end of the day, you can be the best teacher, have the best material, you can have the cure to cancer. But if nobody knows you have it, they're not going to get cured. And if nobody's willing to take the pill or willing to do the stuff and actually embrace it and be coachable and be open to that. So tell us a little bit about some of the programs that you have and what we could be able to step into and experience with Karie.
Well, I'm one of those serial entrepreneurs that got my hands in lots of things that most people don't even know about. International businesses, companies, things that are helping people around the world. I think that's what makes us feel like we're giving back somehow even bigger than what you see on social media. But social media looking in, that's the behind the scenes secrets. But looking in, you see that I do have a speaking agency. This kind of landed on my lap about a year ago. And I know you know this too. Sometimes we question, but we just keep taking a step forward. We kind of feel like we're walking with a blindfold on and just trusting God and the universe that this is supposed to be what we're supposed to do next. What happened is I was a publicist for a well-known company, and it's called Action Coach. I'll drop the name because I'm proud of where I came from. The largest business coaching company in the world. I believe they're in 75 countries now. I worked with them for 5 years, and I worked with names like Darren Hardy, Les Brown, Stedman Graham. I was a publicist to the founder of the company. I would book him for $25,000 talks and above, as speaking. And I managed his 52-city tour. I was in that corporate kind of meeting planner space for a while. Then I jumped ship. You outgrow your position. You're like, okay, time to play in entrepreneurial world again, which I've always done. And I see all my friends over here with these entrepreneurs, these public speakers. And I'm like, why aren't you guys getting on these stages over here that are paying you 10 grand and higher? And they're, kind of like, well, I only know the speak to sell model. And it just was like the two weren't speaking to each other. So I chose to jump in and be the bridge, jump in to be the solution. Like with my past publicity and connections, I know how the meeting planners work. I also see my friends that want to be on stage. How can I be that solution? So I created a speaking agency. It's very different than a speaking bureau. I'm actually actively promoting my speakers to get events all over the world. So it's been fun. It's been a ride. It's been a lot of, what the hell am I doing? I'm not going to lie. Sometimes that's just how it is. We don't see the whole staircase. We only see one step at a time. And you're learning that you're flexing those faith muscles as you take another step. And that's what I've done. And it's just kind of blown up, to be honest. I have some really awesome speakers. And I only take people that have like that true why. They want to change the world kind of mentality. No divas allowed. And overall, it's just been a blast. We're still learning as we go. Leads are coming in faster than ever before. I'm super excited about it. And I still get to kind of cherry pick where I want to be seen and speak, but not be gone all the time, away from my daughter as a single mom. So it's kind of the best of both worlds. I get to pimp out other people and also be seen speaking to. And I totally use the word pimp. They know I'm a speaker pimp. That's what they call me. It's all good.
Well, you're a speaker pimp and I'm a publicity whore. So it works out really well.
That's right.
I do have a filter when I need to. Amongst friends, I say, well, you guys know I'm a PR whore. So just whatever. Anything you can do. So I love your analogy of the steps and the stairs, because isn't it true? If we looked up and saw 85,000 steps, it would be very daunting. But if you just look in front of you, take the next step and the next step. And a lot of times, isn't it true? We start a brand or a company or some endeavor. If we knew, if we really, really knew how hard it was going to be, maybe or maybe not, we would have started it. But once you're in it, it's kind of like giving birth. If you really knew how painful that was going to be, you might not have done it. But once you're in it, once you're 4 or 5 months in, they ain't turning around.
Right.
Talk to us a little bit about these people that you work with, the speakers that have a why and no divas allowed. I love that because, I too, I can teach people how to get on stages locally. Like if you want to get on local stages, 30, 50, 100 people, do the speak to sell model. I don't teach people how to speak to sell, but I teach them how to talk to the organizers and the leaders so that they can get in front of a group and be seen as the leader and authority in their industry. But what you do obviously takes it to a whole nother level. So speak to us about that a little bit. Like, what are you looking for in your speakers?
Well, for a while there, until I got everything figured out, I wasn't looking for any speakers. It was like, don't apply. Please don't apply. Please don't refer your friends to me. That's literally how it was. Like, wait. I'm not sure I'm doing this right yet. I don't want to bring any more people on. And I'm just, again, being no filter, authentic as these thoughts and doubts go through your head. Nobody has it all figured out. If you think they do, you're bullshitting yourself and them. I mean, it's just not even a fair service to anyone to assume they had it all figured out and they had a blueprint. I was just going with my gut, literally. I'm like, I know I can help people. I get to create a bigger ripple effect while getting their messages out there as well. It's got to go back again to the why. I'm a pastor's kid. I talk about that a lot because I saw Dad on stage stirring souls, changing lives till about 13. And then he went into the jail ministry after that. Of course, it's going to impact a little girl sitting in church, seeing what her dad can do to people. So when you speak on stage, you can just touch people in a different way than video, than a blog, than your books, and so on. So it's just kind of exciting. So when I have opened up application processes, I've got stacks of them everywhere, to be honest. But I cherry pick through them because, number one, I'm looking for variety. But I'm also, again, I have a conversation with them. I'm looking for keywords. I'm looking for, this is calling me to do this. I know I'm not playing big enough. I just can't stop thinking about it. I know I should be playing bigger. They know there's this missing piece that this public speaking, it's not just an income stream or another stream of income or whatever. It's more about, I just can feel it pulling me. And I get it. Again, I grew up on theater. I grew up at age 4 singing in church. When I see a stage and I walk into an auditorium, I feel guilty for taking a seat in the audience. I feel like, crap, I'm supposed to be up there. I've got these gifts. Why am I sitting here like a slump, just like hanging out? I can feel the voices going, you're supposed to be up there. So if the stage calls you, there's a reason for it. Fear or no fear of speaking, you'll get over it because the passion inside of you takes over anyway. It's all about the message more than the messenger at that point. So I look at the why, I look at those keywords. I have a good, deep conversation. We become like family because we're working together side by side on this with each lead and every speaking talk. And I help consult them around their signature talks. I do a lot of hand holding to get them ready for the big stages as well, what to prepare for if they're not already experienced. So I am looking for variety because I'm a work smarter, not harder kind of girl. I like to at least get 3 or 4 speakers of mine on one stage, make the most of that relationship, with that meeting planner or CEO of that company. So that's what I look for. I have to be honest and say that this industry is very heavily male populated. So I'd like to see more female speakers out there, and I embrace those women with open arms. So, just a little side bit, I'd like to see more female than male. Nothing against the guys.
I love to talk about feeling the calling, because my mentor wrote a chapter in a book, and when I read this chapter, I knew she was right for me. She talked about how those of us who are called forth, that there are actually souls. There are people right now that are praying, if there was just another way, if I just knew how to do this differently, whether it's physical fitness or becoming more spiritual, or in my case, learning cause market. How can I be a bigger contribution to the world and make money in my business?
Yeah.
Like, how can I do that? So these people that are praying right now, the people who've come before us who are praying for us, and the people who haven't even been born yet that are calling us forth so that our material manifests now, so that they in a year, 10 years, or 100 years are able to benefit from it. All these intentions are literally calling us forth. And that's why, like you said, you're sitting in the audience and there's voices saying, you should be up there. You should be cheering. I feel the same thing. It's like, you got to do this. No, you can't just stay in real estate. No, you can't get a job. We need you. You got to do this. So that's beautiful. And I love what you said about the women speakers, because isn't it interesting? This is International Women Month. And, I go to all these women's events, and even at women's events, it's 80% men speaking. It's like, really?
Yes.
It's a women's group. Can't you find a women speaker? And so even for someone like myself, I'm looking for more stages to get on. I'm wanting to teach more people about cause marketing, because like you said, you got all this stuff that you're doing in the background, because as a visionary entrepreneur, a thought leading business owner, you've reached a level of success where now you want to give back. You want to live your purpose. You want to know that you make a difference. And those are the kinds of people that I work with in the whole cause marketing realm, not only just so that they can network in a different way, not only just so that they can be seen and be heard in a different way, but so that they can feel on a daily basis like, wow, I make a difference.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's the best feeling. I'm sorry, but no deposit in your bank account can replace that feeling.
Yeah.
That fulfillment of, wow, I just did something. And last night I was with a friend, she's a colleague now, but I actually recruited her in the business coaching world 5 years ago. And for her to say, Karie, you changed my life. I'm exactly where I need to be. This was the career I was meant to have, with tears in her eyes. You don't even think like, I just changed the trajectory of your life with just some simple conversation and some simple coaching, some simple encouragement. And look where she's super successful where she lives. And it's just, I forget sometimes, it's those people that stop long enough to say, time out. You changed my whole life with just one conversation, one coaching session here or there. You pushed me into something I never dreamt or saw myself doing. And we forget. Sometimes we're just so busy making a difference. We forget that, and it's so beautiful when someone takes that time out and goes, time out, you helped me and I want to stop and thank you. Isn't that the best feeling in the world?
It is the best feeling in the world. It makes it all worth doing. And the words that you use, when you just said, when you're just doing something so simple, you said something so simple, wouldn't you agree that whatever it is that we do naturally, whatever it is that we are really good, whatever we take for granted, that is actually our genius zone. And that is actually the gift we are here to share. Yes?
Yes, exactly. Yep. You're in full alignment then, and it just flows. And it's true. That's the stuff you usually forget. You're like, oh, no big deal. It was so easy.
But it was so easy for you, but it wasn't for them. And that's why it made such a difference. It's the same for me or anyone else that I know that's a coach. Whatever we think is so easy is exactly that which we need to share with the world.
Yes.
So we know that your people that you serve as far as the speakers are being called forth. They're here to totally serve on a higher level. What about the companies, the groups, the organizations that come to you looking for these kinds of people? Like, what are some of the topics that they are looking for the most? And like, when they come to you and say, we want a leadership person, like, who are these companies that are coming to you?
Well, this is a perfect time to explain this a little bit. And if anyone that's watching is interested in speaking or hasn't quite molded themselves as a speaker yet, you'll want to get a signature talk or some type of brand that's a sexy hook enough to help you remember who that person is, because there is a lot of speakers out there. Please do not be dissuaded. There's more events than speakers. There's a ton of abundance. Believe me. I'm not here to spread fear and lack. But the beautiful part of it all is your story. And I see this happen a lot. People will take their story and think that's all their talk is about. Your story is just the foundation that propelled you to your success. So for example, if you had something happen to you, like maybe my divorce and bankruptcy and all the things that kind of fell apart before I built myself back up again, that's just my foundation. That just gives me street credit to talk about fear. That's how I look at it. I just have credit and clout that I get to share what it's like to be brave and courageous. So some people are taking their story, but they're not putting it into a leadership type talk, but using that as the foundation, or an overcoming fear type of talk, or emotional intelligence, or mindset, all of these things. And corporations out there are the most, and associations, things of that nature, is the ones I book the most. It's one I'm most comfortable with, and I know they've got the budget. Not gonna lie, I know their budget before we even talk. So the beautiful part about that is they are looking way more than most people think. They're not just looking for techie people or financial CFOs to show up or a professor over here. They're actually being more and more open these days to mindset, emotional intelligence. How can I have my employee think like an entrepreneur so that they're the top producer in our company? So there's so much more self-development being shared on the stages these days than there were 10 years ago. So this, again, my woo-woo spiritual people, please, you come to the other side. It's all good. You don't have to just speak at Mind Valley. You can speak at Home Depot like Gabby Bernstein did last year. She's my queen spirit junkie. If she could speak at a corporate stage, anybody can. So just know that they're embracing that. you can think outside the box. I help them with their marketing, of course, and coming up with their hooks and fun stuff too to get them hired, because, you know, it works well for me too if they're more attractive as a speaker and so on. But for the most part, sales, leadership, mindset, those are the big categories. Top production, producing. Most of them are investing in those two areas. They want their employees to sell their butts off, and they want their employees to be good leaders. So those are like the two big areas. But then we niche it down a little bit to make you, you know, I just signed a speaker called the Brain Lady Speaker. That's what she calls herself. She talks about the brain science and how team development and how people work together. So there's tons of fun stuff to play in. It's so enjoyable for me.
So are your speakers typically your one-on-one clients? Do they go hand in hand, or can somebody come to you with a speaker packet that just rocks socks and you just put it out there and get them hired?
Well, I prefer to take those type, the second that you just mentioned. They're ready to go. I've already done lots of talks. I've got, you know, a good highlight reel ready to go that proves I can speak on stage. I've got my marketing, my press kit. Their online marketing is consistent in their messaging, because that's a big one for me. That's like the first thing I look at. Does it say you're a speaker everywhere on your website, LinkedIn, Facebook, wherever I look, you're consistent with your message and brand? Because no matter who I pimp you out to, they're going to Google your name and make sure I'm not just blowing smoke. They're like, who is this person? Let's just Google her. And so that's kind of that. I love those people. Those are easy. It's like, okay, this is how we work. Are you on board? Boom, I got them in. You know, it's like I can start promoting them immediately. There are people that come in that don't have quite that checklist together yet. I can consult them. Obviously, there's a consulting fee and part of that, but I can kind of, you know, polish that gem, get them ready for the big stages, and then bring them on board as an agent. So I do work with people two different ways. Ready to go, need a little help. If they need a lot of help, like I have no clue who I am, and I have no website, no nothing, I'm going to probably farm you out to another coach. You know, there's just a little too much. I don't get into the bushes that deep. So.
Got it. Now, are you yourself doing any speaking coming up that any of us could have the blessing of attending? In other words, you know, if you're speaking for Home Depot, not so much, but if you're on a, you know, Women's International Speaking Day or something,
Yeah.
talk to us about where you might be speaking or any programs that we could participate in outside of, you know, being a speaker or one-on-one coaching.
In the next quarter, I'm booked, I believe it's May 17th at the BizCon event here in Las Vegas. I will be speaking on business and doing a speaking panel as well. That's the next one. I am looking at some women leadership stuff in the fall. We haven't nailed it down just yet, but hopefully that will be around the corner too. I'm a little partial. I'd like to speak here in Vegas whenever possible. It keeps me close to home. I don't have to get on a plane. I have to take 3 or 4 days out of my schedule to go to an event. But, you know, everybody's got a price tag. And that can be possible. My daughter's old enough where I take her with me. She sees me speak. Sometimes she's the background crew. Sometimes she's doing some recording. Sometimes she's handing out handouts. You know, it's just I put her to work. Luckily, she's at that age where I don't feel super guilty leaving her behind all the time. That's kind of why I myself didn't take my speaking career seriously until recently. Was just that single mom stuff going on in the background. I wanted to be home more. So now I'm just taking her. So she sees mom on stage. Of course, she's taking acting classes. Of course, she's going to want to be, you know, a part of that too and see the impact she gets to create herself. So hopefully I'll stay tuned. I've always announced it. Sometimes I'm kind of more shy about announcing my stuff and love promoting my speakers, obviously, and shining the light on them. Yeah.
It's so much easier to point, hey, this is what you can do and you should do.
Yeah.
Take
Look
her
what
own
they're
advice.
doing. Yeah.
You keep mentioning your daughter, and that's so awesome. My daughter is 19, and she's the total opposite. Like, I've taken her, she's seen me speak numerous times. She knows I've been on TV. And I've been when I was 8 years old, I was buying gum and selling it to other kids for a profit, you know, and then loan sharking the money out for interest and collateral. And my daughter just, she wants to work part-time at a local retail place and do as little as possible to get by. And I'm like, how did you come out of me? I wish I didn't quite put it that way, but like, is it skipping a generation? What is that? So when you say, oh, my daughter, you know, she sees me on stage, so obviously she wants to do it too. Damn. No, it's not obvious. It doesn't always happen that way.
No, I guess you're right.
Was there anything that you did that you can just share with us moms and other moms that have kids coming up that you feel like was really something that helped to nurture that maybe I just missed out on that gene?
Well, I've been a single mom since she was 4. I left her father then. And of course, we all go through the guilt phases of, am I doing the right thing? Is this going to hurt her in some way? Then I just move her right to Vegas from Michigan, rip her apart from grandma and grandpa and everybody else. But I think what really probably made the shift was her watching me build my business while working full time. And she couldn't see that I was in the car at lunch break coaching. And actually I was recording podcasts from my lunch break in a parking lot somewhere, praying and hoping the garbage truck didn't come empty the dumpster next to me. I'm like, when people come to me with excuses, I'm like, no. Don't even go there. If you want it bad enough, you'll figure it out. So, she saw that. And that was right when her dad left Vegas and moved back to Michigan. So I was immediately at full-time custody. I'm building my business on the side. I left my boyfriend at the time. It's like always seems to happen like that too. There is no good time to start. You just do it. Mm-hmm. And she watched me build this. Like, Mommy, why are you up so late? Can't we watch a show together? Mommy, why are you always on the computer? I'm like, this is temporary, but it will be so much better later. Mommy will be home. Mommy will be where she wants to be. I wanted to be a hands-on mom. So that year, which was 2013, I sat her down when her dad left the city and said, I need all the help I can get from you. I want to make sure, and again, she was in 4th grade at the time. I'm like, I just want you to, help around the house, pick up your room, she even started to make her own lunches and get herself ready for school and started doing her own laundry. So it started young, 4th, 5th grade. And I molded this young little girl who now it's just automatic. She just gets herself up for school, has all of her homework done. I don't have to ask her anymore. So sometimes it takes those hard conversations, being real with your kids. Like, look, I'm doing the best I can. This isn't a space of judgment or it's your fault or my fault or the world's bad. This is just how things are. They're going to consistently get better, but I need your help. And you give them little responsibilities, make them feel important. Like, I'm helping Mommy. Kids really do want to feel important and valued. But I think over time, again, they watch you. They watch your actions more than your words, that's for sure. And she just saw, wow, Mommy created this. Boom. Next thing you know, Mommy said she would quit her job, and she did. Things do happen. It's not all, smoke and mirrors. So and then we moved into a bigger house and all these other promises that showed up as we just kept growing this business. So it's kind of fun. I think it's, again, leading by example, but also giving those hard conversations. I probably tell her too much, to be honest, for her 14-year-old self, but I've always emotionally felt like I need to emotionally prepare her for what's to come, things of that nature. So she's just a lot wiser, more wiser than most kids in her age rank. I seem to have noticed anyway.
Well, she's probably an old soul, and I'm sure that you resonate with that.
Yes,
we all came here for our own purpose, and I have to let go of hanging on to any guilt or things I could have done or should have done or would have done, because at the end of the day, we all have our own path. My daughter does, I do, you do, et cetera, et cetera. I love how you said there are no excuses. You're making this recording praying that the dumpster guy doesn't come what you're doing. This interview I was doing earlier today, that I was talking about my alcoholism and, how I went through that. And the guy said, do you know who Grant Cardone is? I said, well, sure. He said, Grant talks about, addiction and things like that. I said, any of us that are coaches, mentors that are helping other people, typically we weren't born with a silver spoon in our mouth. We weren't born, having everything, because it's kind of hard to help other people when you've never needed help yourself. Or you've never needed to be able to step up and step out of one way of being and into another one. I said, there's another program out there that says, religion is for people who don't want to go to hell, and spirituality is for those of us who've been there. And a lot of the times coaches and people like you and me are very spiritual, and we are there because there has been some hell to go through to get where we are. So, thank you for sharing with us that. So to bring Fabulous, Fierce, and On Fire on Friday with Friends featuring to an end, do you have any free giveaway? Do you have something that you want to share here at the very end for inspiration? Do you want to give us your contact information? Like, what are your last couple of minutes?
The best way to get a hold of me, Facebook's best always. My website's keriemillspaugh.com. There's lots of free tools on there. You can kind of pick through as a little library of anything that might help you. There's even a blog, just a simple blog with tons of tools to get ready for speaking, if that's something you're interested in. And then there's, of course, my 5-star keynote speakers website as well. And there's a way to apply to be a part of that. That's something you're interested in as well. We are accepting applications again. I had it on pause for a while. Now we're just brought on 6 more people. So it's super exciting. And just reach out, even if that little simple instruction is too complicated, reach out to me. I'll point you in the right direction or send a link to you. Facebook Messenger works perfect. I don't know what we did without it, to be honest.
Well, I've got about a dozen friends that I can send to you immediately, including yours truly. And I will give Karie credit. She is real, she is raw, she's relatable, and she is reachable just like myself. It's amazing to me, the people that are in business that are so hard to get a hold of.
Yeah.
You can't find their phone number. They don't put their email out there. They're a leader of a meetup group, but you can't send them a message because it's blocked or
yeah.
Amazing, but you are very reachable. You're always very responsive. Thank you for that. And here we are in Mercury in retrograde, and having had a little bit of technical issues, I appreciate your patience with that. I would give you the namaste nod if I didn't have my phone in my hand. I appreciate your time, Karie. You're a blessing, and I'm going to reach out personally and send you my speaker packet, and let's do some business and collaborate.
Absolutely, sounds fun.
Awesome. All right. Thanks for your time, guys. We will see you next Friday on Fabulous Fierce on Friday. Fire. Yeah, you know what I'm saying. Bye.